My daughter said something so funny today.
What did she say?
Gosh, she's like, "Did you know that um there to this day there is still water in the pool of the Titanic?"
Mm.
Oh shit! I was
Yeah, that
like,
wins the internet.
I was like, "That's a zinger. That's a zinger. That
That's the
one.
one.
That's the one. Let's put that on." G'day. This is the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast, your go-to for all things Wrexham AFC. Join us as we chat about the highs and lows of our favourite footy club. She'll be right, mate. G'day, beard brethren, shillers, fuckheads, and just all-round legends. Welcome to the 50th episode extravag fucking ganza. There's old Rousey with the uncalled for swear words. Um,
Fuck yeah, you do.
so we welcome to our 50th episode. Adrian, we are here. 50 episodes, mate. That means we've been doing this for 50 weeks.
I thought it was 50 years, but all right, that's great. No, that's awesome, man. Honestly, like I was saying this to you off air, but like it just feels like yesterday we started this. Like it feels really surreal to even do what we do. Even just coming back after 2 weeks off last week and having people going, "Hey, when's the pod coming out?" Or messaging saying, "Hey, looking forward to when you come back," or even just the comments for like the episode last week. I'm just like, how are we even in this position? We're just two Aussie blokes who love Wrexham. That's literally it. We have no superpowers. We have no affiliation. We're not sponsored by Wrexham. Like it is just one of those things that we're just so lucky to be embraced by the community, both in and outside of Wrexham.
Yeah, yeah. And I second that sentiment because I think for us to be where we're at now and people listen to our opinions on Wrexham, whether they care about them or not is probably another story. But
Probably just
we
make
don't
fun of
care.
us.
We just get come together every week and talk about Wrexham because hey, we got an itch that needs scratching, so we're going to scratch that itch. Um, but we've got a massive, massive episode today. We're going to have some guests. It's our 50th episode, like you just heard. So we're going to have some
Is
guests
it?
on. Hopefully, Mark Griffiths is coming on. Ryan and Sean from Me, the Wife and Wrexham are going to come on. Natasha was going to come on, but she sent her apology. She's had something come up. So unfortunately, she won't be able to make it as our musical guest. But boy, do we have something good planned. But before we get to the balls of the episode, um, I want to just talk about our our fuckhead program. We got to do that. So if you're not noticing, I've got a shirt
And I've got a hat.
and he's got a hat. So our new merch store is up and running, and we're going to push it because it's something great that we've sort of stepped out and designed and done. Everything is designed by Adrian over here.
Both of us
And
got to always get the seal. I always make sure I get the Rousey seal of approval because sometimes I'll design something and it looks like absolute horseshit, and then he'll be like, "Hey man, maybe just bring it back a little bit." So he's always kept me grounded with it. But no, it is designed by the both of us, and it's
mm,
also all funds go to us. Going to Wrexham. It's nothing, not lining our pockets. It's literally going into a little account that we pull together, and then hopefully come November 2025, we
not
will be
hopefully, we're going. It's a done
we will
deal. We
be.
are going.
Wow.
We are
You know,
going. So stay tuned for that with more details. We'll give closer to November 2025 when Two Beards take over Wrexham. Um, but twobeardsmedia.com/shop if you want to get your hands on some of this merch. There's mouse pads, there's glasses, there's hoodies. I mean, the hoodies are fucking spectacular. I've got one as well, which I'll probably wear in the next podcast. Um, Oh, it is just amazing, amazing. So, um, by all means, hit that up. But hey, if you want to become a fuckhead and you don't want to listen to ads and all that sort of stuff, and you want early access to the podcast and access to me and Adrian, constantly around the clock via a fans only Discord, then become a fuckhead. $5 a month is the base tier. We'll get you obviously access to the Discord, gets you discount off our merch, 10%, and giveaways in the Discord as well as shout outs on the podcast every single week. Adrian,
100.
your bit, take it over.
Just getting a list up. So, like, we got so many now that I used to be able to go off the top of my head, but I just can't do that anymore. There's just too many of you, and we're very lucky to have that. So, look, our executive producers who pay the $10 tier. And then we have the $20 tier, which executive producer plus free piece of merch every 6 months rolling. And also they get a free. They get a call with us, whether it's FaceTime or whether it's during the game. They can decide each of those fuckheads. That is Sarah, Jake, Anthony, and we also have Dan. And our fuckheads, ring them out. We've got a new fuckhead in the name of Drew, not to be confused with our other fuckhead, Andy. This is great that we've got them distinguished between the two because we've got a couple of people who've got similar names, such as we have two Anthonys. We've got Anthony R. and we've got Anthony, who I've just written as Anthony. So well done on getting that accolade. We've also got Deandra, Mark, John, Chris, Will, Andy, Aaron, Ryan, Rousey, and Adrian. That is a fair few of us now. That is a fair few of us, considering we've also got those executive producers that I listed off at the start there. So very lucky. Thank you so much. And again, all of this money gets pulled together to go towards our Wrexham trip and paying for tickets, accommodation, and things of the like, just because we do have day jobs and we don't get paid very much. So yeah, anyways.
Yeah, the economy's shit. But hey, links will be in the description down below. I'll also, this week, I'll include a separate link for our merchandise shop as well. But there is a link tree down below if you're interested and you want to become part of the fuckheads and have access to that private Discord, then by all means, links down below. But let's get to our episode, Adrian, mate. Fucking let's do it. Let's just go for it and see where this 50th episode takes us, where we've got absolutely no planning for. We're just going to shoot the shit and see what happens. And this is going to be a hell of a fun one to edit. I can know that much. I can feel that one coming right away. So we'll just see how we go. So guys, after this, we'll welcome our guests and have some fun. Let's get down to it. Two Beards Wrexham Podcast. Let's go. Woo! Well, listeners, we are joined here today from gotta be two of our favorite Wrexham people. Me, the wife, and Wrexham AFC, Ryan and Sean. Welcome to back for the third time to the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast. Welcome, guys. How are you today?
Good. Oh, that was in unison then.
We're like Two Beards veterans now, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it. Is it only three? Is it only three? It feels like more. I don't know. That sounds bad. Like, oh God, it feels like we've been on loads of time. But no, it does feel like more. Yeah. I thought it was more than three. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just such fun.
Because we Christmas. Them, I think. That's what
but you are joining us for what is a very special occasion, our 50th episode, which is absolutely
I can't count that high.
But you guys have a milestone coming up too. A rather really big milestone, which one day we'll get there, maybe.
Maybe. I quit after this one, so don't worry about
it. What's your milestone coming up? What can you tell our listeners?
So we are just about to head into recording our 100th episode, which to us it's mad, really, because I remember like it was yesterday doing the 50th one. So that's like, but that must have been about a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the 52 weeks. Yeah, they're just doing it like maths and stuff. Yeah, you know. But it's strange to be saying 100 episodes because I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's been going for that long. You know, and I remember the times that you guys have been on, and it just, if you asked me if we didn't mention the number of episodes every single week,
you wouldn't know.
I would say we're maybe 50, 60s, Certainly not 100. It's just flown by. But that's what they say. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? So
That is right. That is 100% right. I mean, I think, we were trying to think back to when we started out. Have you guys ever looked at some of your earliest ones that you've done? And you'd be like, oh, shit.
Yeah, some of them are a bit, for me personally, they're a bit cringe. Like, oh my God, did I actually say that? Because I've said some silly things, haven't I?
yeah, but I think it's weird watching your journey.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit much, but your development, because literally episode 1, you hadn't long been watching football,
No.
and now we're 100 episodes later, and you sound just as stupid now as you did back then. No, I'm joking. No, and it's just,
Divorce.
yeah, no, but I think for you, there's more of a change in them 100 episodes. Me, I don't think my opinions on anything in football have really changed in 100 episodes. I think, it's still the same. So maybe my change in them 100 episodes is minimal. But yours, I think, is huge.
I think I found my voice a bit more.
Absolutely. I'd back that up 100% because I've actually, prior to this, I went back to some of your earliest videos and earliest podcasts that you guys had done, and I was just having a bit of a listen and hearing Ryan try and teach you about things like the offside rule or or going through the quizzes. You notice with the quizzes, you're getting fucking none of them right.
Yeah.
And then now it's you're actually getting most of them right. So you see this huge, if you're just looking at your quiz performances over the last 100 episodes, you actually see that difference of you coming along. So, oh, actually, no, I know this one now. And it's less now Ryan teaching you things and more you having an opinion and being able to discuss that. I mean, Ryan still likes to talk his whole out, but that's Ryan. That's why we love him.
But I think
it is like that because I did notice in the early ones, it was sort of trying to set you up to say something in a way, to sort of coax you through it and talk you through it. Whereas now we'll be having a conversation and you have your own sort of legitimate opinions.
I wouldn't say legitimate.
Okay, you've got your own opinions though, that's where it's changed, but that's where in the early episodes maybe I was talking quite a bit because I think you were probably quite scared to sort of have an opinion because you didn't feel like you knew enough to have an opinion. But now you sort of go, oh, no, I have an opinion about this because I get this and I know where this is going. And
it's weird. It's like we're in the 21st century, isn't it?
I know. Women with opinions. What next?
God.
Wow.
Soon.
I know.
That'll be great.
Women's rights, yo.
Yeah, but I think that's what I love about what you've just mentioned is it's not just a Sean experience. I think your viewers probably have the same thing that we had, which is we've gone through that similar journey where we didn't feel like our voices or our opinions mattered because we only kind of got to know it in the last couple of years. And I think even us as podcasters, we would say things, but we would disclaim straight away and be like, but what do we know? We're just two Australians. What do we know? So we can feel like, we've experienced what Sean's experienced, which is really it's really nice to know because again, we've talked about how if it wasn't for you guys, I don't think we'd be anywhere close to where we are now in our journey purely because of just the support you've given, but also the platform you gave us as podcasters. I hate calling ourselves podcasters, but whatever we are. But we you know what I mean? You brought us on because you're like, you know what? Their opinions matter. And that's something that we hadn't been shown at that point from any other podcast or any other social media platform. So Sean, I'm sure you probably felt the same way even when, you've got people noticing you at the racecourse, even just, oh, wow, that's someone from Me, the Wife of Wrexham. That's Sean. That's what does that happen often? Does that, is that something that you guys have experienced that you go, oh my God, 100 episodes ago, I didn't expect that?
Yeah, it's still very bizarre. Like I think the last game that we went to, a little lad said to me, he goes, "Oh my God, I've seen you on TikTok or on my TikTok," and it's like, okay, you're about 5, so that's weird. But yeah, it's still weird, and people like the steward that stands behind us.
Yeah,
he talks to us now because he watches our YouTube or listens.
No way.
Like, yeah, and it's like really like people come up to you and say it's like they know us, and it's like I don't think it'll ever get like normalized. I don't think.
No,
like,
I don't think so, because we get, sort of like there's quite a few sort of Americans come over and they say, can we meet you? Well, can we meet you in the turf? Usually, we do that quite a lot, and we go for a drink, which is quite a nice excuse to go for a drink, to be honest, because we'd just be sat at home otherwise. So we go meet them, and then we're sort of driving to the turf, and we look at each other going, do you know what they look like? And Sean goes, no. And then it's the strange thing. You're walking into somewhere and waiting for somebody to recognize you, as opposed to walking in looking for somebody that you know, because even though it's happened loads of times, it never really dawns on you until you're driving there that you go, we've only had emails off this person. I don't know what they look like. So you're literally walking in blind to meet people that you feel like you know a little bit because you've had an email interaction with, but they feel like they full on know you because they've watched week in, week out, and they just feel like they know you. But they obviously don't. But that's weird for me. That I still find that strange that people sort of connect with us as people without ever having met us before. And don't get me wrong, it's really nice that happens, but I still find that so odd that
Strange.
people have that connection to you as people.
You don't have to worry, because we're not going to ask to meet you at the turf. Probably meet you at Manchester Airport when we come over in November 2025, because that is happening. And then we'll probably meet up again at like the Playhouse Gentlemen's Club or something like that.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. Right. Okay. Well, that's good.
washing my hair that day, so
I'm sure there's a spearmint rhino in Manchester as well.
that still exists.
I think so.
Honestly, you know what's hilarious? In Melbourne, where I'm originally from, there was a spearmint rhino in the city, and they would drive around. There was a person who would have a cycle, and they were famous for it because they'd have like a normal bike cyclist, but they'd have like an attachment to the bike, and it was a big billboard saying, spearmint rhino, like only 2 k's away or something like. And I didn't know that was overseas. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I haven't been there myself. I've never really been to one of those kind of establishments myself. But
were you the guy on the bike, Adrian?
I was the guy in the place. Let's be real.
There's no sticky Vickies though.
No, she'll never be replaced. R.I.P.
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
It's her granddaughter now.
It is her granddaughter.
I know.
Now.
Apparently.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
What a world.
I got
a bloody world.
I share a lot of the same sentiments with the fact that when we
weirdest segue
started out, weirdest segue ever. But when we started out and looking at some of our past episodes over these last 50 was so janky, and like you could see us, we had that connection there, but we were still figuring out how to feed off each other.
We were two strangers as well, Rouse. Like that doesn't help.
Yeah, we've known each other like all of a week or two before that point.
Yeah,
I think all of that's really important, though. I think all of that early stuff where you're learning about, because even though we're married, I think we never presented anything together before. So it was quite similar for us, that you're learning about if someone would have asked me 3 years ago, what's Sean's presenting style? I'd have gone, what are you talking about?
What is a presenting style?
Yeah, I know. So you sort of like, you have to learn all this stuff about the people that you're sort of working with. And, even though you look back at old episodes, like you were saying, and it was a little bit all over the place, maybe, and there wasn't quite the rhythm to it that you've got now. I think they're some of the most important episodes that you'll ever have, because in them early episodes, you learn so much about, not just the technical stuff, but about each other as well. And I think it stands you in really good stead moving forward, that you can go, oh, well, I know, you almost know what someone's reaction to something's going to be before you even say what you're going to say that they're going to react to. So, yeah, I think, I've always said this, we've talked about it before, on them early episodes that maybe you look back at and you go, oh my God, these are awful. They're so important to development of the show that you're working on, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially for people like us who are quite official bandwagon jumpers. I'm
not. Here's the thing: the difference between a bandwagoner and a bandwagon jumper is saying you already had a team in the quote unquote English pyramid, Coventry, and then you jump across. I was a Celtic fan, born and raised in a different league, so it's a little bit different.
I was never a diehard Coventry fan, though.
No, but now you are. I'm kidding. I just like pulling it. I like pulling his leg. But no, but honestly, he is right. Like, it is something that we were official. I mean, we've had it called out to us. Even as early as last week, we had someone comment on us saying, hey, one, you're bandwagoners, two, you swear too much.
They got fucking owned.
Oh, they got owned. Yeah. Well, we didn't hold back in our replies, but I think that's the good thing about our podcast. And I think what we've grown is if you look at those early apps, I was very much, Rousey, shut the fuck up. Do not say another word. We are going to get cancelled because of what you just said. But the difference now is I've kind of just let it happen, because I realize that's who we are, like who he is. I'm a different personality, but I think that we bounce off each other quite well. And because of that, people have learned to embrace us, because we're not trying to be disingenuous. Because if I hear me in the first episode, I was such a knob. Like, you can just hear me like, and welcome to the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast and Wrexham AFC. I'm Adrian, coming at you from the ones and twos, and we got Rousey with us. Rousey, mate, how are you? And then he's just like, what is happening? Like, I hated it. I hated every minute of it, because it was disingenuous. And Rousey actually had to pull me aside one day, because we had like a bit of butting heads early days, because I said, mate, I don't think we can get away with this. We can't. Yeah. We can't get away with it. And he goes, we can, we will. And if we don't, who cares?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. And he goes, I know I'm a good person. I know you're a good person. That's all that matters. What any other person thinks doesn't matter. And I think since then we've been able to thrive and make something different. Some people don't like it, but that's okay. Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same with you guys as well, especially like me and Rousey aren't married. So that's different. But you guys are married, so you do have obviously the level of foundation. But like you said, different presenting styles, which bring, your own style that you've been able to develop. And now, like you said, Sean, your football knowledge is, greater than my own, at least. And Rousey, I believe the same as well. Like, in terms of just being able to adapt and not only adapt, but embrace other people's opinions as well, which I struggled with at the start. And Rousey knows this.
You embrace other people's opinions, mate? I'll just see you get fucked.
Yeah, I know, but I just didn't. I just did not. People would say but no, Adrian. I was I remember week 7, whenever Andy Cannon got that stupid red card, and I just said, Andy Cannon will never play in a Wrexham shirt again. He is trash. He is terrible. That. He is terrible. And this is, he's the last of it. 3 weeks later, I was like, I was so wrong. What is wrong with me? And I have to say that, but at least we can admit that, we can do that. But I couldn't accept other people saying, Adrian, give him time. And I'm like, shut up. What do you know? I'm trying to force my own opinion. And I think the difference with being a presenter is not just having an opinion and not budging. It's being able to have an opinion and then actually be swayed, because you are able to accept or at least hear other opinions. And I feel like your podcast does that so well when you guys talk about, best on grounds, especially. Me and you, Ryan, we loved Aaron Hayden, we loved him. He's gone. But we can accept it was probably right. Yeah. Like we can accept that it was probably the right decision.
Yeah. I think with I can accept things, like you very rightly say, Aaron Hayden, I've said it, League One player all day long. Can't stay fit. Can't stay fit. So you can't sort of have a player like that in the team. As much as I'd love us to have an extra spot in the squad for somebody who maybe is never going to play, but let's just keep a spot spare for him. You just can't do that. And, it is the right decision. I can accept other opinions. Sean, it very much struggles with other people's opinions in the sense of,
it's just like throwing you under the bus.
Yeah. No, because
50th episode, divorce.
Yeah, no, yeah. We have people messaging in, and Sean gets so annoyed sometimes. She's going, look at this, and I was going, it's fine. They've got a different opinion to what we've got. Yeah, but look how adamant they are about their opinion, and it's like,
I'm like that.
But that's okay because they're taking the time. I'm not going to name names, right? But there are one or two.
Bloody Rousey.
There's one or two who tend to always disagree with what is said on the podcast, right? And then Sean always gets quite annoyed by it. But as I've tried to explain to it, is every single week they take the time to write, and it's not like a one sentence flippant sort of like, this, you're wrong.
Middle finger emoji, yeah.
Yeah. They literally have an argument as to why this is wrong, why they think this isn't right. And I think Sean is just now starting to understand that it's okay to have somebody, because I said at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that their opinion is different to ours. We just have to accept that, because that's a subscriber. That is somebody who has watched every single one of our videos and comments every single week. Fair enough, they're disagreeing most of the time, but you just have to accept that, because people are not going to have the same opinions as us, and we found that a lot. And we stop staring at me like that.
Yeah,
like
I find I hear some opinions I listen to, I find them just sitting there like, what the fuck? What drugs are you on? But
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
mate, I remember the calls home, Rousey, mate. Remember, like I'd be coming home from work. And Rousey's like, did you see that prick? And I was like, what? And he's like, and he goes, he needs to talk it out with me. He goes, do you have a minute? And I'm like, I don't. He goes, okay, anyways. So basically and he's like, and he goes on about like a comment that was said, and he's like, oh, I want to roast him. I'm out for blood. And I'm like, Rousey, it's not that big of a deal. But the difference is, I think Rousey's good because he will go, yeah, you're right. He'll cool off. He'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Difference with me is if I've already made up my mind, problem with me is I won't budge. I just will be like, nah, that's wrong. And then like, even if Rousey's changed his mind and he's now not on my side anymore, he's like, hey, Adrian, like, you told me to calm down about it. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not. You can, but I'm not. I'm going to stay mad. So that's how I go about it. But Sean, I guess my question to you is, like, I think we're very similar personalities in the sense that we will we call that out because we're like, well, why do you have to disagree? Like, because I'm with you. I'm so with you. Why do some people just have to come out and be the person who's like, you know what? Every week you're wrong. And it's like, then why watch us? If we're wrong every week, why watch us? So is that something you feel as well?
I do. I'm very much a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So it's one of my worst traits, honestly. So if somebody agrees with anything that's said on the podcast, I take it as a personal attack. And I
doesn't agree.
Doesn't agree. Doesn't agree. I take it as a personal attack on me, and it's like, well, you're all a personal attack on Ryan. I'm just like, no, I'm not having that. I think I get that trait from my dad, because my dad is very much, if he doesn't agree with it, like we were saying before we started recording, if he doesn't agree with something, or they're saying anything bad about him or his family, that he will call them out. But I think with me, it's like, I really want you to like me. Please like me.
Yes.
Please don't say anything bad about me. Please like me.
But that's where we're completely different, because I couldn't give two shits if somebody likes me or not.
Yes, he's like that.
Because everyone hates you.
Yeah, but genuinely, I could not care less. I mean, it really doesn't bother me at all.
Well, hey, I've got some news. So basically, whilst we're segueing from this topic of discussing opinions and likes and that sort of stuff, we do have to go to an ad break before too long.
God, yes. We're an ad break pod now.
We've got to have ads now in our podcast. But
do you have erectile dysfunction? Have you got...
Before we go to an ad break, we had some very strong opinions on our last podcast where we actually made a certain amount of likes, and there was a promise.
Oh, God, no.
From one and only Adrian. There was a promise from Adrian that he would make a song just for our 50th episode. So you guys are going to be in for a treat right here, because we've got a song. He's got a song. I'm not singing it. I'm going to sit back and listen. He's going to break out the guitar and sing a song for us.
Next week?
Right before we go to the ad break. So, Adrian, mate.
Before we go to the ad break? Yeah. Fuck me.
Yeah.
We're talking about strong opinions, Adrian. Get ready for some strong opinions.
I'm so scared. I genuinely told Rousey, I said I had to play it for him before we started, because I'm like, I don't want this on the pod. And I just don't want to do this. I just don't want to do it. And I tried to play it hoping he'd be like, it's so terrible that you'll never... And he didn't. And he was like, oh, it was all right. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks. But I was hoping he'd say it was shit and we'll never have to do this. Anyways, so I'm filibustering till the ad break. Keep going. Anyways, how was everyone's day? It was good? Good? All right.
So to take us out...
Weather is about 19 degrees outside.
Adrian, shut the fuck up, mate. Start singing.
All right. I got you.
So to take it away, to the ad break, here is Adrian with a song he's specially prepared, because you guys hit the like and subscribe button and all that sort of stuff, but mainly you hit the like button. So if you like this song, then give us some more likes and we may do it again. We'll see. But yeah, here we go. Take it away, Adrian, with
taking my headset out so I can't hear anyone.
That he's made in about 3 days
or something. Anyways, all right.
Whether across the ocean or from across the road, a team in red has my heart until I'm grey and old. The Wrexham name and story has travelled around the world, but all I really want is to be at the racecourse ground, singing songs of glory about this famous town. Arm in arm, a sea of red, never backing down. I might not be from Wrexham, I will not lie to you, but this town will always have my heart. I'm Wrexham through and through, 'cause I'm Wrexham through and through, 'cause I'm Wrexham through and through, 'cause I'm Wrexham through and through. So many try to hate us, like there goes Hollywood, but fuck them all, we stand up tall like no one thought we could. From all the way from USA to Little Old Road, Wrexham fans are everywhere, we'll take this fucking globe. Whether you've been a lifelong red, or your love for Wrexham grew, there's one thing they can't take away, we're Wrexham through and through. 'Cause I'm 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 Wrexham through and through. Whether across the ocean or from across the road, a team in red has my heart until I'm grey and old.
I fucked up the chorus royally, but anyway, good times.
Oh, and on that note, let's go to ad break. See you after this.
I can't look at anyone, so I'm just going to go look at the window or...
All right, so welcome back, listeners. Wow, that was Adrian. We hope that you enjoyed that little rendition. I mean, I know I did. Extremely touching song. Touched me in places I never thought I'd be touched. Mate, that was
so many jokes.
So good. That was so good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
How long did that take you to write?
2 days.
2 days?
I had the weekend off, so I'd worked all week, and I was like, it's all right, I'll get around to it. And then the weekend came, and I was like, we're recording on Sunday night? Okay, I'm going to have to do something here. And I wrote the lyrics down, but I really struggled to get the actual rhythm and the song of it all. So, and that's why I think I butchered it. It's just because it had so many different versions. There was a slow one, there was a long one. There was like one where I had my electric guitar instead, but I was like, nah, just keep it simple. And then, fun.
Nah, there we go, guys. That was a treat for you. I hope you enjoyed that. But now we're going to get down to some business. We got to talk about League One. It is League One. Can you believe that we are going into League One?
I can.
Strange. Like I know you can because you were there, but does it sound like just the realization of it that next year we're going to be playing teams like Birmingham, like rather than Huddersfield, big
Huddersfield's huge
teams. Has that realization sunk in for you guys personally that that's where this is going now?
Not really, because I was saying to Sean that there are so many teams in this league that I've seen over the last 20, 25 years. There's so many teams there that I've seen play in the Premier League. There's from the likes of Barnsley, but Blackpool, Birmingham, Huddersfield. I've seen all of these teams in the Premier League, and now we're playing them. The thing that I find even more sort of amazing, even more so than the fact that we're going to be playing these teams next season, the thing I find really amazing is that we have a shot of doing it again. And I think I want to be one of them people who go, look, let's just consolidate and let's get through. But I genuinely think that, nobody in that squad is going to want a season of consolidating. Everyone in that squad wants to push on and they want to play at the highest level they can. Can we do it? I think we've got an outside chance of it. I'm not pinning all my hopes on, if we don't go up, it's an absolute disaster. But I think we can have a decent go at it. But I'll be happy with anything. Anything above relegation will do me. Let's just stay there for now.
That's what I said. I said the same thing I literally said last episode last week, that I think the biggest thing for me is if we can just stay up, then it's that's it. Like, I don't care. I mean, anything is good after that. So, if we get to playoffs and lose, it's going to suck, but who cares? Like, we got there. I still think we're like outside chance for like that bottom playoff spot, and we could probably do some damage because we just have nothing to lose. Whereas I feel like in previous seasons, this season in particular, we had a lot to lose because there was an expectation. Now, of course, there's an outside expectation, but let's be real. Internally, no one is expecting to win the league. No one's expecting to do it, other than Rousey. But like the big thing here is that
I did not back that we'll go back to back as champions this time around.
But you did say?
In League 2 I did, but I did say I reckon we might get second or playoffs.
So, and think
the
we'll be
pundits
promoted.
agree with me. The pundits agree with me, and the odds for us going up are quite decent. So,
but have they ever been right?
I'm just going to put that out there. To me, that's mental. That's insane because League 1. But then again, when we stepped up from National League into League 2, that League 2 spread was just mental. And then the way the season panned out with how close things were between the top, probably not towards the end, but most of the season, if you lost a game or two, you're all of a sudden well and truly out of playoffs. That was just nuts. And to see that any team on any given day could beat any other team was very, very hard to get used to. And
sorry. Just our son crawling up the stairs in the background of the shop. Just told him to be quiet and keep out of the way. And
hey, look, it's better than you said it was your son. I was worried like it's like you'd kidnap someone and they're just trying to escape.
Trying to get away.
Sorry, that's staying in on the YouTube version.
Oh, yeah.
That's so good. But
Alfie, you're famous, mate.
But to go back on my train of thought was, that was a tough league with a lot of tough teams. A lot of the teams in League 2 was spending more money than what they would probably normally spend because they wanted to compete with Wrexham. They wanted to be, the dream crushers and whatnot. Now it feels a little different. But now we're going into League 1. That League 1 side or League 1 list in itself is probably one of the toughest League 1 lists I've seen in many, many years. So for us to go from a really tough League 2 now to being in probably the hardest League 1 lineup there has been in years, it just feels like it's all over again. But I know, and Ryan, you might be able to attest to this, League 1, there is a very big disparity between your top 10 teams and then your lower table teams. And you won't see lower table teams constantly causing problems for upper table teams. It'll be much different.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily so. No, you're probably right there because, your top half of League 1 tends to be people who, have perhaps been in the Championship, and have dropped down. And the gap between the Championship and League 1 is vast. We've looked at Rotherham, who sort of yo-yoed up and down from League 1 to the Championship, straight back down again, and that happens quite a lot. So teams coming down from the Championship tend to stick quite close to the top of League 1. Teams that come up from League 2, that can be a flip of a coin, really. You've got Carlisle this year, last season, who obviously they went up through the playoffs. They're coming straight back down, bottom of the league. Forest Green have done the same sort of thing. They've gone up winning the league. They come straight back down, finishing bottom of the league. So yeah, it will be a very different season. And I think as long as we are very focused on perhaps beating them teams in the bottom half of the table, then we'll do quite well. But that's not really the Wrexham way. I think for me, the team that we've got now perform really well against the good teams, and we tend to struggle against the teams sort of lower down the league. You look at the games that we lost last season, at home, barring MK Dons, we lost to Tranmere and we lost to Bradford, who, all right, both of them put a bit of a run towards the end of the season, but you wouldn't call them top of the table teams. You look at the other teams that were at the top of the table. You got Mansfield, didn't beat us. You've got Crewe, didn't beat us. Barrow, didn't beat us. Crawley, we beat them twice. You know, when we're put up against, you notice how I left out Stockport and
Yeah, I was like, well done, well done.
Obviously good reasons. But yeah, it's, you know, we tend to turn up against the good teams. You know, the Notts counties, all right, their league position was a little bit, you know, it didn't really show how decent of a team they really were. But, you know, we beat them twice. You know, in the big game, in the big moments, this team turns up. And I just think that's one thing that's really going to help us next season, because there's going to be a lot more big games and big moments for us next season for us to turn up to than perhaps we've had in the National League and in League Two. So I think that'll hold us in really good stead, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually agree. And I think, I mean, any season not getting relegated is a successful season for me. But, I mean, I just feel that the team we've got and the actual, and what makes us different is that we have a solid team. Like every player works for the badge, not for themselves. Whereas you look at teams like Manchester United right now, they've got a bunch of really high paid players, but they're pretty much just playing for themselves and for paycheck every single week. They don't really care about what it means to wear the Manchester United shirt. And that's, I think, what we're seeing coming out. And we see it with many, many teams. They do the same thing and they go and spend all this money. But what does it mean to represent your team, to wear that shirt week in, week out? And that's where I think Wrexham's very different. And that's what I think is probably going to get them all the way to the Premier League without possibly spending too much money. I know there's this whole thing around we got to spend, you know, $200 million to get out of the Championship, but what I think people are not taking into account is what it means to actually play for Wrexham. And when you've got that, it can take you into that promised land without spending a shit ton of money. But yes, we're still going to have to spend fucking money because we'll be in the Championship. But still, I mean, it's doable because there's that team passion and that team atmosphere that not a lot of other clubs have.
Yeah, it's the Luton effect, I think, as well, isn't it? Because Luton did something very similar. They didn't shed loads of money to get from the National League. I mean, I didn't look at their balance sheet. I'm sure they spent plenty, but they didn't spend the hundreds of millions that other teams have spent to get to the Premier League. I think the one thing that maybe the Luton story has taught us, though, that maybe you can do it, get all the way there without spending huge amount of money. But as perhaps Luton have proved this season, staying there is the big problem without spending huge amounts of money. And I think I think that might be the problem. But look, I think maybe we're jumping a little bit, aren't we? You know, in the sense of we're looking forward to next season, and I'm very conscious about enjoying what we've got in front of us. And I always try not to look too far ahead. As a Wrexham fan, that's so hard at the moment. It is so hard because I'm thinking about, imagine we end up playing Real Madrid in the Champions League, you know, and that just pop into your head and you go, that could happen. But, you know, it's just like, I think I've just got to keep putting myself in check and going, just enjoy what we are going through now. You know, I don't think I completely enjoyed League Two. I don't think I did because I think maybe I was looking ahead too much and worrying about what the end of the season was going to bring. Whereas, let's be completely honest, if we were still in League Two now, that wouldn't be the end of the world, you know. So I think I've maybe learned a little bit from last season to just go, let's just enjoy it. Let's just enjoy where we're at now. And then one day we will play Real Madrid in the Champions League.
We will. And I think the biggest thing about that as well is like we're very like League One was where we were. That was the pinnacle and that was where we were at as a club many years ago. So now we're back there and everyone can be, oh, well, we're back where we should be, you know, blah, blah, blah. We should be exceeding that. But like you said, like there's so many years of heartache that obviously Rousey and I didn't get to experience, but there were years of just shit, basically. And I think it's easy to kind of go into this and go, and I'm already thinking exactly the way you are, Ryan. I'm like, well, imagine if we go to the championship next year, and then if we go then, and maybe we could get into the play, then we could probably, and then I'm thinking, I was even just saying to Rousey, like off air, I was like, they said they might do some friendlies locally. Do you reckon they could pull a big name to come to the racecourse? And I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we played Stoke? At the Stoke Kairas, something like along that line. And it is that thing of, it's nice to dream, but it's also nice to know where you're at and that it is actually an incredible achievement to get as far as we have. And I know everyone wants to shit on the Hollywood story and they think it's all this, that, the other, but it's nothing to do with that. It is nothing to do with it. It is, yes, it's money that keeps us on the sheet, but let's be real, there's been money lost along the way as well, and there's been decisions that didn't pan out, as well as the miracles that did in terms of, Paul Mullen, Ollie Palmer, people James McLean, these people who were paid bigger money to come to Wrexham, it's worked out. But let's think about the other ones that didn't work out. Even ones we've still got now, like Billy Waters. I know, we've got others who are on there. We can't buy the league. You can't do it. You just can't. And Parky's done it.
Did you see James McLean's Instagram story, Adrian?
About you? I think he mentioned something like, I hate Rousey. I don't know.
He took one of those gym selfies and he's got like an 8-pack.
Yeah.
We were talking about that yesterday. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That dude's
I said that too enthusiastically then, didn't I? Sorry.
I did ask her how long, how many hours of searching did it take you before you found that?
It just popped up on my screen, baby.
Of course it did.
Yeah, that's how, that pops up on my screen too, but that's because it's my wallpaper, but that's a whole other thing.
Look, that dude's seriously putting in some
jacked
work. And I like the fact that he's actually grabbed Paul Mullen and got Paul Mullen doing that workout, doing the boxing and stuff, because I think next year we're going to see a completely different Paul Mullen. And I think, look out League One. I think he's going to make a statement next year.
Maybe he could stay on his feet a little bit more if he puts on a bit more bulk.
Yeah, maybe.
Instead of that.
Although to be fair, he did actually dive a lot or try and play for a lot less frees the second half, and that's when he really became. I found that he really became great when he stopped playing for frees, and he actually ended up coincidentally scoring more goals. So
let's be real, he also died. Like the guy died in the preseason. Like that's what I thought you were going with. Everyone forgets. I know that we remember it, but everyone else in the league's like, oh yeah, but Paul Mullen, that's an incredible story in itself. There are people who don't come back from that at all. Let alone be as good as he has been.
Yeah, exactly. And Sean, are you okay after losing Luke Young?
I'm not sure I'm over it yet, to be honest. Again, like the whole Aaron Hayden thing, I get it. I get why he's been let go, but it still hurts. It's like, I can't even talk about it. So it's just, I'm gutted. I'm genuinely gutted. You should never, ever fall in love with a lone player, but I don't think you should ever fall in love with a player, because you just don't know how long they're going to be at the club for, and it's like losing a member of your family.
The weird thing is, what you've got to think about, we're talking about Premier League and all this sort of stuff, and the likelihood is probably most, if not none of these players are going to play for us when we get to the Premier League. Maybe Max. Maybe Max. One.
If he survived Vegas, I don't know I haven't heard from him since. So
I haven't seen him on social media or anything since Vegas.
He's dead.
So,
He's dead.
But the likelihood is, none of these players are here to potentially get us really close to that. But the likelihood is none of them are going to play for us in the Premier League. Everyone's going to move on. And the Luke thing was hard. It's always hard when there's a player who's got has been such an important player. And as and it's got such an emotional attachment, and the fans having an emotional attachment to them. It's always difficult. But like we said for Aaron, let's be honest.
It's for good
It was
of
the
club.
right. That was the right choice as well.
Yeah.
It was. You know, it doesn't make it any easier, but it was the right. It was the right call. So I think you've come to accept that.
I'm starting to accept it, and I get why. Like I said, he was let go, but it doesn't. It still hurts. It's like, you know.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I've
make
liked
it easier.
Luke Young from the moment that I started going to the football games, and
Yeah.
I've never ever said anything else but I love Luke Young. And yeah, I am gutted. But
Just think
Someone
about the
else come
day
on
when
in,
we
man.
have to say goodbye to Paul Mullen.
I
I
know.
won't be that bothered about that.
Why?
I love Paul Mullen. I think he's brilliant, but I don't think I've got that same connection as I do with,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I get what
I
you
get
mean.
that.
Yeah.
Two Beards exclusive. Sean doesn't care about Paul Mullen.
yeah.
Wow. I'm getting to the point where I love James McLean.
Yeah, same.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
8-packs,
Yeah.
To
definitely.
the point.
All right, I love him.
Yeah.
I do want to have his babies.
Yep, fair. James McLean,
In
100%.
any position. In any position.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
But
He's
then
bringing
if
it back.
if you do that, we'll have one rich child and one poor one.
I'll see him all right.
Yeah,
Well,
all right. Then.
Ryan will be,
Okay.
Alfie will be fine.
Can
see
you
me
can
all
you
right,
answer me, Ryan? Actually, this is a question for Ryan that you might know. Why did he put his kid in the Crew Academy?
I know it was a bit of an odd one, but I'm pretty sure his kid was in the Crew Academy when he was at Wigan. I think. Now the Crew Academy has a very it's quite famous in England. The Crew Academy for producing quite a lot of talented footballers. So a lot of sort of players who go on to play in the Premier League and stuff like that come through the Crew Academy. It's got a very good name, the Crew Academy. So I would suggest, and anyone sort of connected to football in the way that James McLean is will know the history and the story surrounding the Crew Academy. So I dare say that is a testament to how good the Crew Academy is, that a professional footballer has obviously decided to put his, well, I say that decided to, obviously the Crew Academy have approached him. James McLean hasn't just rocked up and gone, right, do you know who I am? Get my kid in here. But I mean, I think that is a testament to how good the Crew Academy is. It's not showing on the pitch so much for him at the moment, is it? Oh, never mind. But it has got quite a history. The Crew Academy has. So.
And I suppose it's whoever accepts you as well, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, but I dare say having a famous footballer dad does help open some doors.
Well, I just look at how James McLean was playing against Crew, and there was quite an entertaining exchange or two.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, I know he turns it on for the games, and that's just how he gets his. He feeds himself off that. But then I'm looking at that, I'm like, geez, that's like real hatred there. And then he goes and puts his kid in the Crew Academy. I'm like,
yeah. And I just imagine it's like,
to me, please.
I just imagine it's like Sunday football, and he's just rocked up the next day after the game. He's like, right, lads, and then just fucking drops his kid off out of there, and he's just sitting on the sideline with a deck chair that he's just camp chair he's pulled out. He's like, all right, watches them while the rest of them are all just scowling at him. That's how I imagine this situation went.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be great, wouldn't it? If that actually did happen.
Oh,
I bloody love it.
That is, I know. I think he's going to be a massive player for us this year, James McLean. Still no word if Fletcher's going to come back. He hasn't. I know he's been offered a new.
He has, hasn't he?
I think he's pretty much said yes.
Yeah.
I know he's been offered a contract, but I haven't seen anything official that he's been signing.
It's pretty much agreed. But it depends, doesn't it? He's at that age now, whether he just wants to go. He strikes me as the sort of player who will never want to stop playing. So as long as the offers keep coming in, I think he will keep accepting them. And he would keep accepting them until he was in his 50s, I would say. Stephen Fletcher strikes me as that sort of character that will just keep taking whatever is given to him. So I don't think he's just going to walk away from football. So, I think he's around.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I
I
agree.
thought it had been confirmed, but
No,
no.
not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on that note, we've got no other thing to talk about with regards to Wrexham transfers because fucking nothing's going on.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
what the
Tumbleweeds.
we're sitting there thinking, just before we actually started this podcast, I'm like, there's nothing going on at Wrexham. Like, this is unusual.
No.
This is unusual. Like, I know when we took 2 weeks off, fucking the release retain list came out. The first step down as CEO. We got Mike Williamson in as a new CEO. All this stuff happened around the TST and just like, geez, it's all happening this week. And then we had the 2 weeks off. Now we come back, fucking nothing.
No. We've even started. So what I started doing, was it last week? Yeah, last week's the last episode that we did.
Ryan starting rumours.
I don't know.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do
sort of. It was sort of like I just started. I was going, right, okay. So we in the summer we always do transfer rumors. That's what you do, And I was looking around, going, well, there isn't really any, is there? So I started having to research players from the Championship that were out of contract in the summer that would potentially fit into our sort of style of play and our system, just so that that we could sort of put it out going, oh, well, maybe we could look at this player. Maybe we could look at that player. And it was like, but there was literally nothing. I mean, there's the same old crap that keeps getting sort of regurgitated around, which is like the Jamie Vardy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So was that what this
week.
one about Ben Wilson was all about?
Yeah, so I think Sean started that.
I think I may
Because
have
I'm just
done.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's had
that would be.
2,000 views on Twitter, so
Yeah.
Hey, no,
yeah.
I'm with you. You just keep doing it. Just Mbappe next and Ronaldo or whatever. Because let's be real.
yeah.
Not really.
Let's be real.
Coming to Wrexham, you heard it here first.
Well, like, because, we and Rousey were making a joke, like, we don't want Wrexham to become the retirement home. But
Yeah.
if, Al Nassr are like, well, Ronaldo, you haven't won us any trophies, mate. See ya. And he's like, well, I just want to keep playing. He's definitely not coming to the A-League because the A-League's approached him with like all of the money in the world. And he's like, but I've got oil money, so why would I? My point is, bit of PR for him. He loves the cameras, just get Ryan Reynolds in front of him. Honestly, it'd probably work.
Yeah,
man,
I'm not sure I'd like Ronaldo there, though. I think he's too much of a prima donna, and I don't
he's
think
a tosser.
he wants that. Yeah.
Well, I got to admit though, when I saw that Ben Wilson one, I was kind of like, I
He's
just
the next
don't.
Ronaldo.
I don't think he's any better than Mark Howard.
Yeah.
I actually would prefer Mark Howard over Ben Wilson. And look, I know a fair bit about Ben from his days at Coventry, and he did a really good job in League One. But
Coventry.
I just don't see him being any better than Mark Howard.
No, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because we've sort of talked about this quite a bit, where I've sort of thrown a few out there where I sort of mentioned, the longer it goes on, I don't think the Arthur thing's happening. So we've got to realistically look elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I looked at a couple of sort of keepers. I looked at Danny Ward, obviously Leicester backup goalkeeper from Wrexham, would make sense, not getting game time, but the downside is he is a number 2 and he's not playing week in, week out. Another one I looked at was Chris Maxwell, ex-Wrexham player from St Asaph, just down the road. Huddersfield, number 2, not playing week in, week out. And then the Ben Wilson thing came about, Championship goalkeeper. Again, he's a number 2. So it's what you really want from a goalkeeper. Do you want a Championship level goalkeeper who isn't playing ever? It's just a backup, but he's training with a Championship team. Or do you want a really top quality League One goalkeeper who has actually just completed 46 league games, and is really good, like someone like the Derby goalkeeper who got released sort of last week, won the Golden Glove. Derby have released him. He's looking for a club. Seasoned in League One. You know, it's so hard to know what the club wants. You know, or do you want to go down another Arthur route where you're looking at someone really young who maybe isn't proven at the moment? Yeah, I mean, it's stick your finger in the air and guess.
As long as it's not Onana. As long as it's not Onana. All right, they just never go down that route because he is just shit.
I can categorically say, Chris, we're not signing him, so you're all right.
Nailed it. All right, you heard it here first. We're not signing Onana, Ronaldo, or Mbappe, but
yes.
But I'm telling you, Danny Ward would be a good one. I do appreciate just he's a what do you call it? What do you call him? A battler, a stalwart. Like the guy is like there. He just is there, and it seems like he would be a very good signing. Kind of like when we got McLean in the sense that you just know he's going to fight for the badge, and that's kind of what you want. Whereas I don't know about the others.
Wages would be the huge problem with Danny Ward. You know, because I would guess he's up around even though he's at a number 2, Leicester. Biggest budget in the Championship ever, I think, and you know he's going to be on 20 grand a week. You know, so that for me is a stretch. You know, for a goalkeeper.
I mean, speaking of fairly average players, Erling Haaland, fucking fairly average, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Segues today, Rouse. You're fucking so left of field. I have no idea where you're going.
I was actually having a discussion with one of my friends. I'm like, watch what Erling Haaland does when he's got 2 players on him. He's got his back to him and his back to the goal, and he's literally just standing there. Whereas you look at players like Paul Mullen, he'll be running him ragged trying to get free of him. Erling Haaland doesn't. He just parks his ass in front of the goal. I'm just like, he's fucking average. He is average at best. Like, fucking put him in the National League for a year, I reckon. But
Paul Mullen is better than Erling Haaland, according to Rousey. You heard it here first as well.
Yeah. Clip that and get it on social media.
Dude, everyone will rip us to shreds. Bloody Australians for supporting Wrexham. Bloody, of course he says the Haaland shit. You know, have you watched him the rest of the year? They won the Champions League last year, you know.
Alfie's a little bit unhappy because Haaland's his favourite player.
Oh, Rousey, you made a kid cry. This is all your fault.
He's thinking the prime.
Erling Haaland prime.
There we go. Well, on that note, we're going to go to an ad break.
Prime.
So we'll wrap things up for this podcast after this, guys. So be sure to keep listening, and we'll have a bit of a shit chat, and then we'll wrap things up, and then be sure to head over to Ryan and Sean's channel, me the Wife and Wrexham AFC, and watch their 100th episode, which we're apparently going to be on.
Apparently so,
yeah.
The rumors are
they fired us. Like, I'll be honest, they heard the Erling Haaland comment. They were like, "Nah, not today, mate."
Sorry, we're having a few technical issues. What was that? Sorry,
I can't hear you. Say it again. I can't hear you. Oh no camera. Like,
all right, guys. After this, we'll wrap things up. Let's go. Woo! All right. This is bringing our 50th episode to a wrap for the week. It's been good having you guys on this show, and it's always a pleasure. I mean, we see you guys as basically our Wrexham family, and I know we are looking forward to November 12th coming over 2025 and actually seeing you guys in the flesh for the first time. Getting to, pat Ryan on the bum. That's going to be a thing. Wow. Yeah, he's got a cute bum.
Witness protection program after this episode. I'm calling it right now.
It's like, if you've ever seen Deadpool 2 where he hugs, he hugs that steel dude and his hands just it's gonna be
Colossus.
That's gonna happen, Ryan, mate.
I was going to say something, and I've just realised how ridiculous it sounds. So I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say what it was. I'm not.
Right, everyone guess. Sean, you start. All right, I'm thinking it was grab the crotch, but
Yeah, balls. I think maybe was it. Maybe.
No, I'm not even going to say it. No,
Just slap Adrian's bald head with a lemon or something, like just to hear the sound.
Go
No,
jump
anyways.
go jump on an EasyJet flight to Benidorm and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Claim it on tax and say it was a work expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Suitcase, carrots, Vaseline. That's all you need, isn't it? For Benidorm?
Oh dear. So guys, I mean,
Benidorm.
you guys obviously got 100 episodes coming up, and I know on behalf of Adrian and myself and Two Beards the Wrexham Podcast, who
That's
we
us.
obviously changed the name over the last couple of months, but we would like to say
Because we got sued by Sean and Ryan, yeah.
we love what you guys do, and we will always support you, back you, love you, cuddle you.
It's happening.
Grope you.
But we by all means, guys, if you've not heard Me, the Wife and Wrexham, get out there, give them a listen, give them a like, a follow, share the absolute shit out of it, because there is well and truly a worthwhile podcast to listen to or watch on YouTube as well. So
thank you so much. And
the sentiment is right back at you.
Yeah, to be fair, congratulations on 50 episodes, but I think this is one milestone. You've got loads. You guys, you're not going away anytime soon, and you've got many years of this to come. So
we'll be back on for your 100th episode soon.
Yes, please.
500th, and then but it's like you'll look back and go, do you remember how excited we were for 50 and now we're on 500? It'll fly by. You guys are here to stay. We love what you do. So
I'll have grey hair. Adrian will have no hair, so he won't be any different.
Same, yeah.
Oh dear,
it still hurts. But no, look, honestly, yeah, just to surmise, like, we are very lucky to have you guys a part of our lives in general. We're very, very ecstatic to just. I remember when we did and this is just a last little story we got the message that I think we'd asked you to be on the pod. Oh no, sorry, you asked us to be on the pod, and we were just like, holy shit, like they want us on because we'd watched you guys before we knew you knew who we were, and vice versa. And I remember we freaked out, and Rousey called me too. And like, when Rousey calls, it's either one of two things: he wants to kill someone or he's excited. And those are the only two things. So he's like, these guys, they want us on the pod. They're from Wrexham. It's huge. Like, we never had anyone communicate from Wrexham to us, and this is just great. And like, when it happened, we just, it was huge for us, and it still is, because again, we consider that our stepping stone. If we didn't get on your show for you to give us the shout outs that you did, I don't think we'd be here. And I genuinely thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's still surreal that we're mates with you. And I love telling people, like, our friends, Me, the Wife and Wrexham, our friends. And in their pod, they're like, they're on our ban list.
But they're not just Fred, like other podcasters anymore. They're actual TV stars.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Bringing it back.
So there is that.
I still can't download it.
Plug for that, please, because look, I got to admit, I am fucking gutted because we cannot see it anywhere in Australia. There is
VPNs be damned.
I've tried VPNs. I've tried VPN through S4 to try and look at S4C. Yeah. Been on the YouTube page, all that. No, they've got it blocked out somehow. They've really clamped down on it, and I cannot, for the life of me, view this episode. I've only just seen clips of it that you've shared on YouTube, but give us a plug for that show. If there's anyone in Wrexham that hasn't seen it, or around the UK that hasn't seen it, give us a plug right now.
So it's called Wrexham Club Knee. It's on S4C. So anyone in the UK, you can actually watch it on BBC iPlayer. So if you go to BBC iPlayer, the channels section right down the bottom, you'll see S4C, and it'll be in there somewhere, or you can just search on the iPlayer app. I sound like a granddad then because I didn't know what I was saying, but on the
application.
iPlayer, go on there, and it's Wrexham, but spelt WRECSAM, so spelt the Welsh way, and then Clubney, which is CLWB, separate word NI. Search for that, or alternatively, you can look on the S4C website. I'm not 100% sure what that is, so Google that one.
I'm sure it's
Wrexham. So was it Wrexham Clubney?
Clubney. So it's basically translation is our club. Basically, so
I was going to say because that sounds like a good name for a strip club.
Yeah,
Our club.
Wrexham Club name.
Alfie's laughing at that.
Alfie's,
Oh my God.
Alfie's like, who are these people and why are they in our home virtually?
yeah, I know.
All right. Well,
but if you are viewing this and you're under the age of 18, then please turn this off because this is an 18 plus podcast.
they've got now. Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Ryan and Sean, again, thank you for coming on for our 50th episode. I said it again, go over there, give them a like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And thank you guys for coming on again. So on that note, Beard Brethren, Sheilas, fuckheads, and just all round legends, this is Rousey, Adrian, and Ryan and Sean from Be the Wife and Wrexham, and us obviously from Two Beards
leaving too.
Podcast. We will see you guys next week for another show. And yeah, see you fuckers later. Bye.
Whether across the ocean or from across the road, a teeming red has my heart until I'm grey and old. The Wrexham name and story has travelled around the world, but all I really want is to be at the racecourse ground, singing songs of glory about this famous town. Arm in arm, a sea of red, never backing down. I might not be from Wrexham, I will not lie to you, but this town will always have my heart. I'm Wrexham through and through, 'cause I'm Wrexham through and through. 'Cause I'm Wrexham through and through. 'Cause I'm Wrexham through and through. So many try to hate us like there goes Hollywood, but fuck them all, we stand up tall like no one thought we could. From all the way from USA to Little Old Road, Wrexham fans are everywhere. We'll take this fucking globe. Whether you've been a lifelong red, or your love for Wrexham grew, there's one thing they can't take away. We're Wrexham through and through. 'Cause I'm Wrexham through and through. 'Cause I'm Wrexham.